What's happening? What's happening? Yeah, my other video got cut short when I was talking about like training your senses. It's like it doesn't matter how good this technology we got. Like this thing's got ears like an animal. You know what I'm saying? Like a jaguar. You know what I'm saying? And beyond, probably more, probably even like a bat, because this machine, this device is hearing. There's another device somewhere downstairs. Even the ones that don't work anymore still got capabilities where. So we're so dependent on this technology that it's like even this computer here, man. It's like I'm having trouble operating it because it's like I've been working with the smart, technology where it's all you moving around with your hand on the little device, handheld with the phones and the pads. So it took me a second to readjust to this, but that this micro type technology is making this even harder to use. And then the fact that phones are so smart with memory, I don't remember numbers anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I read in a book, it says no matter, we could have all this technological advantage, but in the end it's like our own senses, like training them. If you're absent of all technology, that is your high technology, is your ability to utilize your senses. You know what I'm saying? It's like what Musashi says, that that perception is strong and sight is weak. The use of all sight and all perception is the twofold vision. All perception is a big concept. It's like this: when someone mentions a street, and in your mind you can see the street, in your mind, boom, that's your perception. That's stronger than what you see with your eye. And if you can fuse everything you know into what you see and in how you act, it's a broader way of thinking. I mean, it's a basic principle. It's in the I Ching. You know what I'm saying? And it's applicable to any person's understanding of life and things. It talks about it's the forest and the trees. It's like when you're in the forest, you know what I'm saying? It's like don't get so caught up in how beautiful the whole forest is that you don't actually go and look at each particular tree. And don't go to a tree that is so beautiful or so weird and gnarled and strange. You get so interested in that one tree that you don't see the forest anymore. I mean, this is the same thing. That's an analogy of the twofold vision. Or even Bruce Lee, when he talked about the divine wind, wiping the mirror clean to truly see yourself. That's a form of the same thing, the twofold vision. I mean, even Jesus Christ, he says this. He says the spirit is strong and the flesh is weak. Same thing. If you have a spiritual understanding, this is the extrasensory perception. You can get it from honest seeking it from the text that it's available out there, and then having faith. That's the component there. There's the faith component. What do you put your faith in? Everyone puts it, if their faith in something. So it's like everyone listen, every man has his own religion these days. You know what I'm saying? No one agrees on anything. So it is Crowley's vision is coming true to an extent, that do as thou wilt. And it's like that means basically be your own God. Man is God. Allah, man is God. Again, and I mean that reiterates when you look at a pope and you say he's God on earth, but he's just a man. You know what I'm saying? But it gets twisted like that, and when you use the spiritual eye, the eye of the mind, you know what I'm saying? And the spirit of discernment that comes from God, That spirit, not the spirit, not your own understanding, all your not your own twofold vision. Now that's a strong perception and sight, but if you add that other component of God's assistance, or even on the other hand you got supernatural intelligence from the demonic kingdom, because if you really study into this stuff, it's deep, it's worldwide, it's a mafia. They're connected, they're integrated, they are communicating, they see this, they see yours, they see mine. They got all the archives, you know what I'm saying? And they've been doing this forever, just concealing things. And just kind of, it's a game to keep people, dangle. It's like a carrot. It's like a hologram carrot. It only looks like it ain't even a real carrot. It's a hologram. I mean, they keep us chasing a ghost. You know what I'm saying? And it's so disheartening out here that people start to chase the dragon. You know what I'm saying? And that's an old term. Check it out. You know, and see where it comes from. And the very Illuminati, you know what I'm saying, money people are responsible for the chasing of the dragon and over and over throughout history, man. But training the senses, you know, like here's one way to train your ear is just you just sit quietly. The only way you can actually learn to use your ears is by being quiet. Okay, so if you can just shut up for long enough and just pay attention, it's like what I do is I'll listen and I'll try to count the different noises and where they're coming from. Like I'll close my eyes and I'll tell you what I hear as I hear it. Dogs are scratching. The vent with the heat on is rattling. The coffee just sizzled. It's boiling. So at that moment right there, I only could hear 3 distinct sounds. So sometimes there's more. Like if the birds are out, if it's like, you know, around right before dinner time, cars are moving around, people are honking, dogs are barking, or if there's people around you in a different part of the house, it's not that you're intentionally eavesdropping, it's just you develop your ear to become so sensitive that it can pick up things like that. You know, that's one of the principles behind, you know, it's like, I mean, I know I learn a lot of kung fu techniques from basically the movies that I've seen on Hollywood, because there's a lot of truth in them. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you have to actually watch a dude do something, then go do what they do. I mean, if you're just smart enough, you'll see why they do it, you know, and it's practical. You know what I'm saying? So it's like blindfolded, you know, learning how to, you know, when I'm throwing at a target like the ground, when I'm learning the thorn technique, when I learned to close my eyes, like I'd pick out a spot, close my eye, and then aim, and then I'd open my eye. I mean, I'd listen too. I could hear it. If it sticks, if it hits, it'll go, it'll make a real harmonious sound. If it misses, it'll make a thud and a clang, and it make an unharmonious sound. So I mean, you got multiple practices going on there, and then it's weird. That's how you're training the mind. You are training the mind, because I mean, the fact that you're cutting out the eye, now you're using this memory. It's just you're using your brain in a different way, and it's like once you take off the blindfold, now your perception is quicker. You're tuned in. Wherever you throw, you're hitting like that, like that, like that, like that. It's kind of like this. Here's a good way to explain it. It's like when you stand in between a doorway and you press your arms like this up against the doorway, and you hold them there for like, you know, so many seconds, 30 seconds. Then you walk away from the doorway and you hold your arms down, and they slowly float up, because there's some muscle memory going on there. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's a residual effect, and your arms feel like they are weightless. I mean, these are one of these little weird anatomical things that, I mean, that even that explains so much right there. That natural, just wanting to round out, you know, lift and round out. And it comes from being relaxed too. You don't have to do it. It's like if you were tense, it wouldn't work. But if the minute you relax, your arms start to move up. I mean this is anatomical senses. But I'm saying it ain't just body senses, the five senses. There is there's stuff beyond that, or there's such a high usage of one of your senses. Like sometimes people can sense subtle vibrations from so far away, like footsteps, kind of like how people put their ear to the ground, they listen for the train. Like people, or some people just have an ability to sense someone around, and they don't know, they really can't prove how, but there's certain statistics show that it is possible. Some people just got it, like cowboys and Indians. You can always go back to cowboys and Indians, samurais and ninjas. You know what I'm saying? And these people had, you know, it's like their senses were just tuned in because they used them in a certain way, and it gave them almost like superhuman like abilities. You know, there's, you know how some stories like rumor, gossip, man, it can get blown out of proportion a little bit. But then sometimes you see there's a lot of times, man, in life you've witnessed something miraculous already, something like, whoa, that could have been really bad, but it wasn't. So it's like, it's not, you know, it's not out the realm of possibility, man, that there's more to it, you know, that we can we got more influence over things than we would realize, you know, because it's like animals, for instance, man, it's like it's weird, man. If you try to concentrate too hard and you get too quiet and you breathe too softly around animals, they get weird. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I noticed, man, if you can just, if you're kind of like out and you're at peace, the birds seem to be attracted to you. You know what I'm saying? It's weird. You know, I've seen it. I've had it happen a couple times where it just seems like that it was like, it was peeping me out. You know, it was interesting, but I didn't realize it. I didn't know they was even peeping me out until after I came out of my moment of peace. You know what I'm saying? Or you know, contentment. You know. So I don't know, man. It's like there's the Jing Yi Quan. The name of it basically means mind form boxing, or mind heart boxing. Like basically, it's about, I mean, if you think about the heart's like emotion, or it's like why, and you know, and the mind is like, it controls everything. It's automatic, but yet at the same time, we have you know, a gas pedal and a steering wheel in there as well as the auto and the heart too. The heart too, you can control your emotions, and sometimes you can lose control of your emotions and then make bad decisions with your mind, for instance. But mind heart, it's like I was already thinking about it, like before my hand was here, it was already in my mind to put it there, and you're trying to like develop that micro speed in between your action and thought, and I mean, at least for, you know, from what I understand of it, you know, you can apply that not just to, you know, martial arts, you know, or kung fu, and I like that philosophy there, mind heart boxing or mind form boxing, because it's in the mind before it's here, it's in there. So it's like you got to focus on the mind, learn how to train the mind. You know what I'm saying? You can do that by messing with your senses, different senses, taking away senses. If you want to learn how to feel vibrations in the air, wind, noise, then plug your ears, go deaf. You know what I'm saying? And go deaf and blind, and then sense the subtle changes. You can actually feel the moonlight on your skin at night. Like if you pass through shadow in the moonlight, you could feel it on your skin if you've trained your skin to sense subtle changes in whatever. Is it energy? Are they photons bouncing off there? Is it the lack of? Is that's the shadow? I don't know, but look, I know my skin has become so sensitive that I can actually feel light. You know, some people would say, "Oh man, you know, and you're just crazy." But I mean, you go out to the beach and sit in the sun, and you get a suntan. You can feel that heat there. There is an effect. You can feel it. You can train yourself to be able to feel, or you can push the limitations of your ears by using them different. Your eyes by using them less, and then using them. You know what I'm saying? It's just or it's kind of like I could beat you with one arm tied behind my back. I mean, that's showing off, but it's also practical in the sense, like, say it was your final duel. You're trying to save your family from hordes of enemies, and you're missing an arm. It's chopped off. But since you've already won battles with one arm tied behind your back, then you can still take some people down, and maybe one of your children can flee to the monastery and be trained and grow up and avenge your death. No, yeah, I've been watching kung fu movies all night. But anyway, yeah, that's what I'm talking about with the training your senses and extrasensory perception type ish things.